What up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. You too can be great. This is the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 12 episode 18, a Greek tragedy in 6 acts review. Child, the episode last night was a lot. There's a lot to go on. This is going to be a long review, so here we go. Now, the episode starts off with Candy. You know, they're now in Greece. They're enjoying themselves. They're at the hotel. Candy decides to talk to Kenya and say, you know what? You and Nene need to have a talk, because y'all remember from last episode, Nene extended an olive branch to Kenya again, trying to show empathy for her going through whatever she's going through with Mark Daly, and, you know, putting out there that they're trying to get through a divorce and whatnot. So she wanted to show, hey, I've been through a divorce with Greg, even though we got married again. Cynthia's gone through a divorce. Portia's gone through a divorce. All of us here are able to kind of discuss this with you and show empathy, because you know what you're going through, even though you didn't do shit for us. When it was Phaedra, you didn't give a damn. When it was Portia, you didn't give a damn. Kenya, when it was Cynthia, hell, you had your own personal issues with Peter before y'all got close. So hey, it is what it is. I'm gonna show you. But you know, Kenya snubbed Nene because she's in her feelings and she really doesn't trust Nene. Rightfully so, because Nene and her are not getting along, but she snubbed her. And so now Candy's like, y'all need to have a conversation, because we know that Nene took it very personally because Kenya did not acknowledge her on purpose at that dinner. Tanya, Cynthia, and Nene are having a ball at the beach, taking photos. Candy says they're going to go into a restaurant in the air. Don't tell Nene, because y'all know that Nene has a huge fear of heights, and so do I, because I don't want to be, why do we need to be in the air all the damn time? Why don't we do shit like normal people? But they're on the bus, and they're driving to this restaurant, supposed to be in the air. And on the bus, Candy talks about how she intends to basically hire her surrogate after the baby comes out. I don't know how I would feel about somebody who carried my child and now hiring them to be a part of my business. Like, I know that she likes her surrogate, but this is a business arrangement. She's supposed to carry your child as a business arrangement. You pay her to carry the baby. She drops the baby. You go. I feel like that's getting too personal. What if she hires a surrogate and the surrogate works for her for a number of years and they get into a fight and the baby's now grown? She can now go to the baby and say, well, guess what? I carried you. Your mama didn't carry you. I'm the one who pushed you out. I just think it's too much. As soon as this baby drops, I don't want to see your face. That's how I would do it, but to each his own. Then we got them talking about Mike and Cynthia and potentially having a baby. Now, y'all know Cynthia's what, 51, 52? She's over 50. And they're talking about her having a baby with Mike. I'm thinking to myself, girl, by the time that baby turns 18 years old, you will be what? Pushing 80? Why would you want to have a kid at this point? Like, come on now, that's doing too much. I get that you want to enjoy yourself by getting married and wanting a life partner to help you live the rest of your years. Because Cynthia maybe have, I would say, maybe 40, 45 years at the most. Most people don't live past 90, 95. They're dead by the time they hit 95. So you trying to, you know, I understand wanting to grow old with somebody's child, but talking about a whole new baby, she's talking about, I may have a miracle baby. Then she trying to tell us that because she missed her period for 2 months, and that means that she has a baby in her. No, honey. It means that you're slowly approaching menopause. That's what that means, girl. It doesn't mean you're pregnant. Cynthia, stop it. Knock it off. Stop. Cynthia can be so naive sometimes. I can't. Then we got they get up to the restaurant, and of course Nene starts crying because they're going up. They're supposed to be what, 200 some odd feet in the air eating. I'm thinking to myself, do we got to do all this for food? Is it really necessary? I know some, you know, people been with some weird ass shit. Next thing you know, y'all will be going 200 feet in the air eating the flotation device, hoping that thing don't pop and drag your ass all the way to the floor. Like, that's doing too much. I don't think that I have the balls to go, unless I don't have a choice. I'm starving, I don't have a choice, then I can do that. But if I have other options, child, that's what I'm going for. I'm finna be eating up in the air with my legs hanging out. Y'all stop it. But they're eating in the air, and Kenya starts grilling Cynthia about her wine. This is what I know about Kenya, and all you Kenya fans are going to jump on here like, Kenya is the bomb. I love me some Kenya. I know, but let me explain to you the pattern that Kenya has exhibited over and over and over again that y'all cannot deny. When Kenya is going through something in her life, she does not know how to compartmentalize her pain, and what she does is she tries to project whatever she's feeling on whoever the hell is around her. And right now, because Cynthia is the one who's happy, she's enjoying her relationship, what Kenya would want in her life, she's jealous. So whenever she gets time, or every now and then when she gets into her own feelings, she lashes out. Now, Cynthia, being dumb as hell as she is, keeps making excuses that because Kenya is going through pain, it should justify her fuck shit. It does not. Kenya needs to be taught how to treat people. It doesn't matter if you're going through nothing. I shouldn't be your friend and be worried that every time you go through something, you can now take it out and kind of project it and make me feel bad about my situation because you're going through something. That is not a friend. Because that means I can't trust you. Who's to say that if I'm not going through something and you're going through something and I come to ask you for advice, you won't try to fuck up my joy because you're unhappy? Because they're sitting there drinking and they're enjoying themselves. Kenya decides to be a negative Betty and now try to grill Cynthia about her knowledge of wine. Now I understand that Cynthia has a wine cellar and she's not an expert on wines. But I also have people who own Mexican restaurants and you find out that the owner is Chinese or Asian or some form of, you know, Filipino or Indian. I found people who own restaurants that are not even in their expertise or their area of knowledge, but they have the money to hire somebody who can come in and tell them what to do. I've seen people in my restaurants where you go into and you got people making, you got Chinese, you got sushi. I've gone to this restaurant, there's sushi being made, but behind the sushi bar is a bunch of Hispanic people. Now, we know sushi is a predominantly Asian food, but we got Hispanics out here making sushi for us in this sushi restaurant. It's based on who owns it, and Cynthia has the amount of money to go and hire somebody who's knowledgeable in the wine industry to let her know which wine people will buy so she can stock up her cellar with what the public will want, hence the rosé that she has. She doesn't have to be an expert in wine. Now, if she's somebody who's going to give you like a wine knowledge or whatever the case is, she could easily say, listen, my wine cellar, this is the person who helped me. I'll ask questions that are related to you. But Kenya is going out of her way on TV to make Cynthia look incompetent as a business owner. And Kenya is the same person who dogged Tanya out when Tanya tried to put it out to the public that she, as a natural hair care product person, wears wigs. We knew that, the public knew that, but the fact is she was trying to discredit her knowledge in natural hair by letting us know that she does not wear her natural hair all the damn time. It's the same thing that you're doing to Cynthia right now. So if you don't like it done to you, why the hell would you be doing it to somebody else? We've had people who own hair boutiques, who own clothing lines. They own the clothing line, but they don't even make their own clothes. Somebody else designs it on the background. We've had musicians who don't write their own songs, but they're singers. And you're like, what are you talking about? But you're going too far. It's supposed to be as a joke, but Kenya kept digging and digging and digging, and everybody peeped it. And Candy was the only one who had the audacity to go ahead and stop her and say, Kenya, what about you? Now, they went smashing place, and I was all here for it because that's one thing I intend to do when I go to Greece, and I will, is to smash some place while I'm doing it, because I know that's what you're supposed to do when you're in that type of culture. But they go here, and while they're there, you know, the producer decides to ask Kenya in the, on the confessionals, what was the difference in what Kenya did with the hair and what she did with Cynthia. Kenya has too much pride. She does not know how to apologize unless she feels like you're going to apologize to her too. She does not know how to own her stuff until you've pushed her to the point where she doesn't have a choice but to admit what she did. Rightfully, she would just ignore it and try to do something else to make up for what she did. So the producers are not having it for her. What is the difference between what Tanya did to you and what you did to Cynthia? Instead of her saying, you know what, I'm in my feelings, I'm going through this situation with Mark. Some days I'm happy, some days I'm not. Some days, I want to just lash out, and it just happens that this is how I choose to do it in a passive aggressive way. She decides to act a fool, like, you know what, it's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. You know what, whoever's making these questions, I'm just gonna get up and I'm gonna leave. Bitch, bye. You can leave. Okay. Then we got Portia, Tanya, and Cynthia they're back at the hotel, and they're in Cynthia's room. And Portia and Tanya, y'all know that Tanya does not feel it for Kenya, so she brought the Cookie Monster out to try to fuck up her and Paul's matrimony. That's lack thereof, their fake matrimony. And Portia, even though she's trying to foster a relationship with Kenya, I don't quite feel like Portia has yet to make amends with Kenya, because it's not like Kenya has actually taken responsibility for all the shit she put Portia through while they were going back and forth with each other, because Kenya did start it. And so she doesn't quite take responsibility. She just expects people to push everything aside and then take whatever action she does that's good in the future as her person. So I don't ever feel like maybe Portia would ever have a decent relationship with Kenya, because I hear both of them. They do throw digs at each other when they can. Kenya has slowed down on throwing the digs now that she feels like Portia and her are cool. At the same time, I don't feel like Portia really trusts Kenya, because here she is and they're talking to Cynthia on the side, and Portia makes a fair point. If you're building a relationship with somebody, it doesn't matter what they're going through. You have to teach them how they're supposed to treat you, and that was a fact, and I appreciated Portia giving Cynthia that tidbit. But on Tanya's case, Tanya is doing it, pushing for it, because she don't like Kenya. She don't, and she has every right not to. I'm sorry, but they give her this evil eye bracelet, letting her know that it's supposed to keep people who are negative and who want evil for her away from her. It's the evil eye. She's supposed to, that's supposed to be something that'll protect her, and she's supposed to use it. Of course, Cynthia's sitting there making excuses for Kenya to excuse her behavior. Oh, she's going through something, and I'm just, I just know her behavior is just whatever, girl. Tell her the truth, because you need to check her. That's what you need to do. Then they wake up the next night, they're on the bus, and they got to go to a vineyard, and because, of course, Cynthia's wine cellar is the thing that's being discussed, this vineyard is going to give her more information about maybe wines. Maybe she can educate herself while she's here. Who knows? But on the bus, before they get to the bus, they're showing, them getting ready. We got Mini Dennis, the 6-month-old, PJ, looking just, that girl is Dennis's double. Dennis just threw up and she came out. That's what that happened. And she's drooling with joy, and Portia's enjoying being a new mommy. But they get on the bus and they're going for this wine tour, and Cynthia decides to let us know in the confessional that she's going to get all the information she needs to make sure that she wards off all the haters, aka Kenya, because Cynthia is now realizing what happened the night before. Then they asked them what y'all would want in a husband, right? Of course, Marlo says what we all know she'll say. He needs to have a lot of money, because at 40-something years old, I don't want to have to wait for a man to get his life together, but he needs to be beyond the 100,000. He needs to be in the millions. Y'all know that if you meet somebody who makes maybe 100, 200,000, it's more than enough. You don't need all the extra stuff. You just want to live a certain type of life, so you want him to have millions, aka gold digger. So Candy said something that's very important. When she met Todd, Todd was not in the millions, but Todd was in the hundreds of thousands. He was still well up there, which is what a majority of Americans have not hit. But she saw his ambition. She saw his willingness to be, to improve himself, to grow. So she knew that together, they're stronger than apart. And so she was willing to marry a man who knew how to get himself far in life. He just needed a little bit more capital, which Candy provides, and they're supposed to work as a team, and here they are making millions with each other. She made the right decision. Marlo, what do you bring to the table besides your booty and your attitude and you saying that you want to blow him on holidays? Tanya piggybacks off that, talking about holidays. There's 7 days in a week. What you mean by he only gives head on holidays? Girl, Tanya is a super free. She said, I give great head. And Nene said what I said. Well, child, that's why you ain't got the ring. Well, no, you got the ring, but that's why you haven't got the wedding. Because this man is feeling like, if I go in and wipe her up the right way, I may lose this daily head I'm getting from this girl. Because y'all saw her when they were doing Eva's baby shower. They had to drink something, this little suck on that little baby bottle. And Tanya's ass was up there. She had no hands, girl. And she was letting it drip down. And I was like, Tanya is a super freak. I said it, and she just admitted it. She's out here blowing Paul every day, throughout the day, all night long, to keep that man together. And Nene's like, don't she ever get tired? I said, no, ma'am, because she's doing all this wanting a wedding. But he hasn't given it to her in years. What makes you think he's going to give it to her now? He's getting all this and then some, girl. By Tanya, I don't see her walking down the aisle anytime soon. Not when he's getting all this already. What's the point? Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free? That's a saying, and it's legit. Then Portia, while Nene's giving advice to them about marriage and everything that she went through while being married with Greg, Portia's listening, and of course Portia says what I can see through her eyes is she misses Nene's relationship, because Nene, being that she's more mature, she's going through more in life, she can give Portia some good advice, and because they're beefing, she can't ask her for help. Even while she was going through Dennis and he's cheating ass, she could have gone to Nene and asked for help, because Nene has gone through Greg cheating on her, but because they were on the outs, she couldn't do it. Then they get to the vineyard. Cynthia, Portia decides to put Cynthia out there, letting him know, hey, we have somebody here who owns a wine cellar. And the guy says, you know what, I know people in Atlanta that could probably help you out with some wine and maybe give you some products to sell for them. So Cynthia may have made a connection. So that's a good look. They go wine tasting, and the guy tells them, you need to smell, swirl, put it in your mouth and slurp it. Basically, once you're done, you either spit it or you swallow it. Tanya's nasty ass, I'm definitely swallowing. Portia asked, I would be spitting, ma'am. Like, Portia from Thotland, you spit? Girl, why don't you swallow it too? She spits, y'all. Then Marla decides to let Cynthia know that if she puts her face on a bottle of wine, it's good marketing, good marketing. Cynthia, she's nice. So she goes, if it's a high brand wine, I'll put your face on it, because Marlo's all about money. And Kenya's messy ass is like, no, it needs to be some low brand wine. And she whispers it. Then we got Kenya now, after this wine tasting, deciding to go and buy wine for Cynthia, but she puts it in the form of, I want to buy all these wine that we tasted for my friend, this one. Y'all know Kenya feels bad. This is what I mean by Kenya not taking responsibility. She could have easily gone to Cynthia and said, you know what, Cynthia, I'm sorry about what I said. I think I went a little bit too far. I was trying to be funny, but I think it went a little bit overboard. So I apologize for that if I felt like I embarrassed you. Instead, she's trying to buy her wine to compensate for the things that she did. Kenya does not like to apologize. She doesn't. Unless you force her ass, she will not take responsibility. She will defend herself and be defensive until you push her ass to the wall and say, yo, I'm not taking your shit. Apologize. Here she is buying Cynthia wine to make up for what she did, as usual. Then Portia decides to pull Nene to the side, and finally they decide to talk. Okay. Here's the thing about that whole situation. Portia tells Nene, you know what? We've gone through a lot, because they've gone back and forth, before. But it was just a horrible time, and we all knew. We all knew that Nene was going through Greg's cancer situation, trying to help him recover. At the same time, we knew that they were also having marital issues in addition to the cancer situation, and that just puts a lot more pressure on the situation. So Nene shut down. Then you got Portia, who's pregnant. Not only pregnant and emotional, but now she didn't have a baby, and she's going through postpartum. And y'all decided that was the moment for y'all to start beefing. Of course, y'all not going to understand each other because y'all are in your feelings. So Portia basically lets Nene know, this is how I felt, because I was going through a lot when you were doing that. And when I extended, said I prayed for you, you just shut down. It didn't seem like you gave a damn about our friendship. So I felt the way I felt. Nene acknowledges what happens, and she tells her side, and they both kind of make amends, and they're crying. Nene calls her little sister, and she calls her big sister. They're genuinely making amends. Portia is telling her how she feels. I missed you as a friend, because they had good times. They flashed back, and they really had a decent friendship from what I perceive. So I was very happy that they fixed it, and they found a way to get around, to make amends. Now they're eating dinner time. All these stray damn cats that come around, you don't even need to go to a pound to get a pet. Y'all just need to pick up one of them cats and take them home. For real, that's how many they were. And they're sitting there just walking around like it's nobody's business. I'm like, damn, who keeps making all these damn cats? They don't have any kind of system where it was just too many damn cats for me to be it was too much. It was worse than the ones you see in France. Then we got the Greek salad coming out, and the chicken coming out with it, and the lamb coming out with it. That food looked bomb. I will be trying their food when I go. I love Tanya's outfit and her titties that were popped up with her little mini blue skirt that goes along with that white thing. It was looking nice. Portia talks to Tanya and said, since now that her and Nene made amends, they want to make sure the girls do the same. So they want to have a little soiree after this dinner to help people discuss and air out their personal issues, hoping that they make amends just like she did. She's on a happy tip. Then we got Eva calling them, letting them know that she's 5 centimeters, and soon she'll go to the hospital. They're going to induce her so this baby can come out. Okay, she's about to have a whole human being by the time they get back to Atlanta. Then Candy breaks up Portia and Nene's missing lashes, saying now they're calling each other big sis, little sis. Candy, of course, doesn't think this is going to last because she has a different experience with Nene. She doesn't think that Nene can hold her personality long enough for them not to have a fight. She might be right, she might be wrong, but that's her impression of Nene. So she thinks this little six, big six thing is just ridiculous. Then we got Portia saying that her and Tanya want to, let the people, let them know what they want to plan in the group. Kenya on the confessional says, I don't know why the hell Portia wants us to come and air our personal business out there. And I know that Kenya said it because she knows that what she did at the freaking dinner in the air was going to be brought up in the table in the group. But she doesn't feel like they should be over here trying to squash it in front of everybody. Well, girl, you done brought Tanya's personal business out when you found out about the cookie lady saying that Paul was hitting on her on the side. You brought it to the group. You didn't talk to Tanya privately, right? You didn't have no problem putting everybody's business out there. Even when Fader was going through shit, you brought her personal business out there. Now that you know that people are definitely going to bring out the shady shit that you were doing to Cynthia in this group, you want to say, well, I don't know why she wants us to do it in public when her and Nene did hers in private. Girl, bye. Kenya understands what's going to happen. She knows it's going to be brought up, so she's not going to think about what she's going to say. Then they get to the sit down where they got to clear the air, bring out the snack for the evening. I love Cynthia's dress and her little boobs coming out. It was beautiful. Then they pass the crown to Portia, and Portia decides to talk about Nene's relationship and her friendship and how they heal things because Candy brought it up and said, hey, Portia, lead it. They give Cynthia the crown. Cynthia gives her other crown to Kenya. And of course, Cynthia decides to address Dinner in the Sky, feeling like what Kenya was doing was super shady. Kenya has already rehearsed her apology. Now that her back is held against the wall, she's going to now take responsibility for what she did. The pattern is the same. Then she says, you're my big sister, your business is you're my sister, not big sister, you're my sister, your business speak for itself. And she goes on this little long rant. You can tell Cynthia is over it. So she's like, you know what, it's okay, they give each other a hug. And Nene, for once, is right. She was right. If it was Nene that did that to Cynthia, Cynthia would not let Nene off the hook. She would hold Nene to the cross and make sure Nene really owns what she did. But because Cynthia's telling herself, oh, Kenya's going through a lot with her situation, she's going through troubles, let me just not hold this to her, let me just get through. Cynthia at this point is being a better friend to Kenya than Kenya is being to her. You cannot always be the punching bag whenever Kenya is going through shit in her relationship. She tried to fuck up your engagement by trying to put it out there before the actual engagement happened. That was supposed to be a surprise for you. That is not something that people take lightly. I wouldn't take that shit lightly. You're gonna fuck up my moment of me telling the story to my kids. Oh, my friend who was supposed to be close to me fucked up my surprise engagement. Now you're trying to fuck up her business when she's on TV in Greece, trying to make the entire world think that she don't know what the hell she's doing, she's incompetent, when you didn't like it when somebody did it to you. But Cynthia, Nene was right. Cynthia was not going to hold Kenya to the same standard that she will hold Nene, because she's trying to tell herself that Kenya is going through something. But Nene was also going through something when she was going through Greg and her cancer situation. She was. That's why she was being a bitch to everybody. But let's be real. When Cynthia and I'm going to flash back here because people think that when it tell me what this and this and the comments that feel like I don't watch the show. I watch the show. And let me tell you something. When Nene went after Cynthia for inviting Kenya and not letting Nene know heads up that Kenya was coming, knowing that they were not good friends to each other. Let's be clear. Y'all remember when Walter was on the show? That's when Kenya first came on the Real Housewives. She paid Walter to be her makeup boyfriend on the show. She made Walter look like shit by telling everybody, oh, he don't want to kiss me, he don't want to touch me, who wouldn't want to do all this with all this in the shower with him? But Walter knew it was a fake relationship. They should try to get him to propose. It was a hot ass mess, right? Walter then told Peter and Greg and everybody on that panel that it was a fake relationship and that Kenya paid him to do so and it wasn't real, right? Then, but at the same time, Peter and Greg had already fostered a natural, fun relationship with Walter along with Apollo and Phaedra. Nene threw a little party herself and she invited Walter without telling Kenya that Walter was going to be there, because her and Greg were cool with Walter, knowing that Kenya did not like Walter and that Walter had gone and told the truth and that Kenya's out here looking like a fool. So Kenya was going up and Nene saying, why would you invite Walter without even telling me, you know he and I don't get along? Why would you invite him? Nene said what she said to Kenya, it is my party. I'm allowed to invite whoever the fuck I want to invite. You don't tell me what to do. When Kenya was trying to go off on Nene because she thought that was shady, because it was shady. Flash forward now to seasons later, Cynthia invited Kenya to her party, knowing that Kenya doesn't get along with Nene, without telling Nene, even though they were supposed to be cool. And Nene felt some type of way and started treating Cynthia like shit and saying all this stuff about her, how she's weak and how she thinks she's insecure because of her and how Mike show, all that stuff. It's the same thing. Kenya and Nene have similarities in their personality. That is a guaranteed fact. They have a lot of similarities in their personality. The only difference between Nene and Kenya is that Nene is more quick to take responsibility and apologize and move forward once she gets out of her feelings. Kenya does not ever want to take responsibility for anything. She does what she does for entertainment purposes, but she's feeling like, so far as I do something nice to you, you can just forget all the other stuff I did to you behind your back, because I'm doing nice to you. I'm doing something nice for you now. People don't function that way, Kenya. We don't. That's not how it works. We don't care how much time you want to be entertaining. It's wrong. Nene and Kenya are the same. Sometimes people that have certain types of personalities that are similar, strong personalities, they can't get along with each other. Because they do similar things to each other, they can't trust each other. Because they both do the same thing. Nene doesn't like certain things done to her, even though she's done it to other people. Kenya doesn't like certain things done to her, even though she's done it to other people. It's the same coin. Then Nene decides to speak, and she decides to call Kenya a bully bitch. And Kenya's like, "Did you just call me a bitch?" Nene's like, "Yeah, what you gonna do about it?" And Kenya's like, "You want me to fight you?" She's like, "You won't fight me because you will lose. You will lose. All you do is run your mouth." Nene is in the building. Nene's gone. Nene is now, I know that y'all may not believe this, but Nene's a little bit jealous of Kenya and Cynthia's relationship. Nene has had years, almost 10 years of friendship with Cynthia. Now she's seen Cynthia giving Kenya an arm, even though she doesn't give her the same thing, knowing that she has had more of a longer friendship with Cynthia than Kenya. She's jealous, and so now she's gonna attack Kenya. So she called Kenya a bully, and she called her a bitch. Now they're arguing, and they're going back and forth with each other. Kenya calls her bipolar. Nene then does what Kenya normally does. When Kenya is fighting with somebody, she goes for the gutter. So Nene went for the gutter and brings up the fact that her husband is about to leave her because she don't like her because she's bipolar. Now, y'all remember when Nene previous episode was saying that she wants to empathize and show some concern about Kenya's feelings, and Kenya didn't acknowledge it because Kenya didn't trust that it came from the right place. Well, because Kenya knew that this is the same thing that she would do. Nene at some point would throw that shit in her face, just like she would throw it in somebody else's face. They're the same person. But Kenya don't like to take it when it's done to her, because now once this dust settles, she passes the crown to Tanya. And she piggybacks off what Nene did to try to issue an apology to Tanya. Thank you so much for not bringing up what I'm going through, throw it in my face, even though you know you can. Because you do it to people when they do it to you. You brought the Cookie Monster to Tanya's face to make her feel bad because she brought up the wig situation to you. Now you don't want people to do the same thing to you. Nene ain't playing it. I'm going to do the same thing you do to other people back at your face. She piggybacks off that, and I love how Tanya didn't back down. Because Tanya told her, you didn't have to go so far as to bring this woman in my face. And Portia's in the corner going, they don't wave the same, because they don't. Tanya bringing up a wig that we all know you wore in the first place. It wasn't news to us. Trying to make it seem like you as a natural hair product person wear wigs does not compare to you bringing the potential side chick to a lunch to look her in her face and try to make her and her relationship look bad because yours was going bad. You try to fuck up somebody's years. Tanya has been with Paul for what, 10 years or so? And you try to fuck that up because you weren't happy in your relationship. You went way too far. That wig situation, what you did, does not compare. They're not the same. But Tanya told her, I didn't feel sorry after what you did. But Kenya has selective memory. She's only stuck on, you know how I felt when you brought the wig. She's completely eliminating the fact that when she even thought that the cookie lady was trying to say that Paul was a cheater, she did not go to Tanya respecting her privacy. She brought it up to the group and she was being messy while doing it. What if the woman was just so beautiful? She was just so beautiful. She was gorgeous. You know, would you tell your friend, I mean, this girl is really beautiful. She ain't that fine. She's not. She wasn't cute at all. Let's be real. She wasn't ugly, but she wasn't Beyonce walking around. She wasn't Halle Berry, but you try to make Tanya feel inadequate or insecure. But Tanya is prettier than that Cookie Monster looking girl. So Kenya was being messy with the other woman. And then we find out that Mark also had an other woman. She's projecting all that she's feeling around Cynthia, Tanya, everybody that she can get her hands on that gets close to her. So Tanya didn't feel like she was sorry. And I agree, Tanya, don't feel sorry for that. Don't feel sorry. Kenya does not get a pass to be a bitch to people because she's going through something. I'm sorry, she doesn't. So Nene starts going and saying a married person, a real married person, will be doing that to somebody, and that's a fact, because if you're married, you know you want to protect your marriage. You know what you have to do to keep it the way it is. It's not easy to keep a marriage together. So you trying to bring this woman and ruin my relationship the way that you did, being messy, not even in private, not even off camera, girl, bye. Bye, I don't feel sorry for you. This is karma for Kenya. I'm sorry. I know that it sounds harsh, but this situation is a little bit of karma for Kenya. Mark is Kenya's match. Mark sees a lot of things that Kenya does, and Mark has a passive-aggressive way of handling things, just like Kenya has a passive-aggressive way of doing things. It's like they're a match made for each other. Kenya knows how to get it with him. Mark knows how to get it with her. They made a baby too quickly without really understanding each other because Kenya wanted a family so bad. It is what it is, girl. Just deal with it. This too shall pass. When it gets through, you get through, you'll be all right. In the meantime, stop being mean to people. Portia then gives I'm sorry. While this is going on, Nene jumps up. She had already asked people to pass her some food items, and she starts throwing food to Kenya. Kenya decides to say, why are you throwing food at me? Kenya's sitting down. Nene's like, at this point, I will beat your ass. You have to understand something. Tanya is Nene's friend, even though Nene does throw shade to Tanya sometimes, especially with her not being married and being with Paul for so long and sucking his dick. Then Nene is also Cynthia's friend, and even though they fight, Nene does care about Cynthia. Even though I feel like she treats Cynthia like shit sometimes, and she does seem like she cares about Cynthia. Nene is also caring about Portia, even though she does some janky shit. She's fostered a relationship with them. Nene and Marlo are straight. These are every single person that Kenya has done something wrong to. The only person that Nene's not gonna go to bat for is Candy. So Nene, and on top of that, Nene also feels like Kenya stole the closest person that she was close to in that cast, Cynthia. So Nene's feeling some type of way, and all these rage is going to come out even when Kenya is going through what she's going through. So she starts throwing stuff at her. Kenya and her are about to go at it. Nene is talking about she's going to beat her ass, and this episode ends and it says to be continued. This episode gave me, it was a lot that was going on. I was very happy to see people calling Kenya's bullshit and not excusing her because she's going through a divorce. You don't get a pass to be an asshole to people just because you're going through something. You still have to show some level of kindness even when you're going through something. You have to treat people the way you want to be treated. It's a guaranteed fact. I don't care how you spin it. Kenya doesn't do people the way that she wants them to do her. I'm sorry. Sometimes Nene doesn't do people the way that she wants them to do her. It's the same thing. And Cynthia needs to stop giving them passes for no reason. And Portia, I love you, girl, but you funny. Anyway, please like, subscribe, and notification bell. I'm going to go ahead and post this. I'm going to do the reviews for Love and Hip Hop. Hopefully the reunion does today. Have y'all seen the trailer? I know Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is supposed to do today, and I can't wait because that trailer looked fire and I'm ready to watch it. But I'm talking about the reunion for Love and Hip Hop New York, and I know Love and Hip Hop Miami is also going to do today. I'm going to do review all of them, so y'all look forward to that. Hopefully there's not, you know, Bravo postponed the reunion for Real Housewives because of this whole coronavirus situation. I hope they didn't postpone the Love and Hip Hop situation too as well. Anyway, you guys have a good day. I love you guys. Bye.